All right, everybody, we're back in the bow shop. Once again, we're doing a bow build on the TRX 38. Again, this bow has been built like 3 or 4 times, but now we're building it set in stone. I built it, then rebuilt it for hunting, and then rebuilt it for target shooting, and I pulled it apart. Now we're gonna rebuild it for target shooting, and it's gonna stay like that. So, for our pieces, we've got Shrewd S2 series bars. We've got a 14-inch for the back and a 30-inch for the front. So, drop that real quick. Then we've got the QAD Ultra Rest that we're gonna throw on it for now. I need to get the actual QAD target rest that they make, but it's not gonna happen right now. So that's gonna work for now. We've got a Dusty Boy. We've got an Excel Achieve XP with a UV2, UV3 on the front with the target kit inside. For release of choice, we've got a UV2, hinge 2. With on the front, we have a, it's no degree, it's no down degree on the hunting rig. I shoot an 8-degree down. On this one, it's gonna be straight. But once hunting season's over, I'll put the 8-degree down onto this bow. So, oh, and then we have a Shrewd Atlas sidebar mount. So I guess, let's start building it. So first things first, we need to bolt everything on, I guess, don't we, Ian?
Yeah.
Sexy though, even when she's dusty. First thing first, we're gonna put the rest on. And, oh, it is gonna fit just barely though. Screw, matched up with these 2 bolts on the side. We're gonna go in this front one. Just goes right in there. Wrong size. Tight. Then let's throw on our scope bracket. Super simple. 2 bolts are gonna go right here. Doot, doot. Doot, doot. Now with these bars, or with this mount, it doesn't have to be perfect up and down because it is straight. Or it's, yeah, it's straight. It's not like a degree down or anything. So you can just crank that puppy on there and it'll be fine no matter what. If you ran a degree down, you would have to make sure that this is straight up and down or you'll get some kick left or right. Or if you put it on upside down, your stabilizers will be pointing up in the air. But, so with that, we don't need to worry about that being sideways or anything because it's a straight bar out with no degree. So this is actually brand new. We're gonna unbox it. Show you guys what all comes with one of these. So you open it, you have the actual bracket itself, and then under this foam is all of, your hardware. So the only bolts we really need, so the only bolt we need is this one. We need that actual piece, obviously. And we need this little bitty bracket. Everything else, I mean, you don't really need. I'm not gonna use any of it. I don't even know what this is. It's probably like just a lock.
Or a spacer.
Spacer, doubt it. But, so we're gonna spin the bow back around this way. And right here, now there's a couple different ways you can mount this. I'm gonna mount it this first way. So you can mount it here, or you can mount it up here and run it higher. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna run it right down here. And you can see on the Shrewd Atlas, there's a flat side, and then there's a rounded side. We want the flat side to be touching our bow because of this right here. This is where it's gonna mount. And so we want the flat on the flat, not the round on the round. So we'll get it, actually, this goes in here. Don't forget that. So your little washer is gonna go right into the bracket. And then that's gonna screw in just like this. And we're gonna run it all the way out. Stick this guy in there. I wanna make sure mine's straight. Actually, no, I did that wrong. I don't want it out, I want it all the way in. There we go. Now I can make sure it's straight. Crank it down. I will crank my stuff down super tight because I don't want it going anywhere, guys. Once it's tight, I want it to stay tight forever and ever. Okay. So on my lift, I was running it a 4 and a 4. So that's what I'm gonna do with this one. And I might end up changing it. Just depends on how it feels, but for now, I'm gonna put it on 4 and 4, roughly. It's pretty close. So if you have this, or want to get one, this here is gonna be controlled by this bolt, and then on the front side, this movement is gonna be controlled by the bolt on the bottom. So, get this guy tightened back up here. 4 is that as well. And crank that baby down. All right. And then this piece goes on your stabilizer on the rear run, and that clips in there. And on the front one, where did it go? It's on it. The trophy ridge, it looks a little bit different. It's a little bitty silver piece, just like this, which is gonna go right there, but we're not gonna put the bars in yet. Still gotta tie our peep in, tie in our rest, put a sight on, tie a D-loop, all that fun stuff. So let's tie our D-loop. From the past time I built it, I already have my knock set, so all we gotta do is tie a D-loop in it. We're gonna go with a black D-loop, and then floof the top. We're gonna floof the top, burn it, and let it cool. I don't smash these. Nice ball in the end. You'll notice that a lot of this stuff looks like something Crispy would do, and that's because it is. I learned how to do a lot of this stuff from him, and everything I do doesn't break, and it always works, so I don't plan on changing it. So on the top, you want to loop around away from you. You want the loop on the opposite side. On the top, so this is the top of the bow, you want the loop coming around that side, pushing through, and then tighten it. I will yank on that guy pretty good. And then, so you can see this is where our string come through. Come around this way, Ian. So our string is on this side. Whenever we do our other side, we want to come to the opposite side. Go through it, and I'll pull it to the size I desire, and then I'll wrap it back around, go back up through that loop, and I will get this guy set pretty much where I want. Give it a cut about here. I don't like a super short D-loop, and I don't like a super long one. I kind of like the mediocre, regular size D-loop. So same thing, floof this out, catch it on fire. Now I untie it and burn it. That way I can get a better bubble on it, and then I will retie it. We have some serving separation here, but this isn't something I really worry about too much. Now on the Phase 4, that baby, the serving separation is unreal. That thing just needs restrung. This does too, now that I'm seeing this, but this bow is fairly new, and it's never actually been shot in a tournament. So I'm not too worried about it because the strings are still pretty fresh on it. Loop that back around. Tie it. This can be difficult depending on how small you like your D-loop. All right. So now we are in this position. My handyman is going to hand me my D-loop pliers. Stick these guys in, and I'll crank it down just a little bit. Readjust. Make sure it's tight. Give it another crank. Adjust. And then finally, I'll give it one good smash down. Perfect. So now, oh no. You're supposed to put your peep sight in first. I'm a goober. But we are gonna put the peep sight in and see if it messes with our D-loop too much. It shouldn't, but it's probably going to. So on this bow, I'm running the Hamsky Insight Peep System. Brain fart, big time.
It's the smart you did.
Sometimes you forget things. So on this, you can see the longer barrel is gonna go on the side you're looking through. So going in, that should be pretty close, actually. And if my D-loop's a little bit off, I can fix it. I can twist the string. So really quick, actually no, I'm gonna pop this off. It's like a ladder. Throw an arrow in it. We'll check our peep really quick. It's gonna be pretty close. I can already tell you it's probably there. Let's throw the sight on and figure out for sure. And see. Perfect. Just get good at what you do. Tie that back in, or smash it back in there, I suppose. Serving, I go around it once, just like this. Just your regular old knot. Then I will flip that one on the bottom, so now that knot is actually on the bottom of the peep sight. And then crank that down, and I'll come back around to the top where I'll do a regular knot, and then I'll finish it off with a square knot. That way this dude never comes undone, because we do not want that. D-loop did seem to stay straight. Our peep is a little twisted though, but that's just gonna come with training your string and getting it where you want it. And once I tie this in completely, if I tie it in completely, because I haven't been, things will change as well. So let's set our draw cord, which I think I will probably end up having to put a new draw cord in it, but hopefully not. We'll crank this down. If you have a drop away rest, you can follow this cable down, and it's going to be the one that is kind of pulling And this one over here is the yoke. This one is going that way. We want the one that's coming this way. So we'll separate that cable and find rough. We'll find rough center on it, which that was actually pretty easy. Separate that, and then we will slip the cable up through it. Make sure everything's in its tracks. Just like that. Keep it tight. Again, make sure everything's in its tracks. And then we will draw this, and hopefully that's going to be long enough. I'm hoping that it is going to be. We'll draw it back. Whenever I draw it back, watch this. It's going to suck it up and it's going to time it just how we want. Perfect. And you want that about the last inch of your draw is where you want that guy to stand up, stay stiff. So, throw it back in the press. How I tie it in, one in here. How I tie it in, there's a lot of different ways to do it, but for this one, we're just gonna loop it under and just tie hitch knots going back up the cable. And it looks like we're only gonna get 2, which is fine. Pull it tight. This is much safer. Well, I'm not gonna say safer, but I would say it's something you have to worry about less if you tie it into your cable instead of having them plastic little clamps that can't clamp to this and then your actual cable. I just feel like this is protocol, honestly. I like it much more. It's easier. Even though it's just a little bitty plastic piece, you're not adding more weight to your bow than you want. So, same thing as kind of the D-loop. I kind of, oh, maybe not. Maybe it's not gonna fan out. All right, well, we're just gonna light it on fire. Smash it down. Just like that. All set up. It's looking good. Now, I think all we gotta do is just throw on our stabilizers. So, on the front one, throw on our front bar. Front bar, and then our rear bar. There she is, looking good. So it looks heavy. It actually feels really balanced right there. How much does this whole rig weigh? Let's find out. We got a poundage scale, but it'll work. So this whole rig is 7.28 pounds. Not too shabby. Hold steady, shoot darts. So now, let me think. I think all we have left to do is shoot it. Nope, gotta check the timing. Okay, so Matt uses a G and puts these little holes in the cams. Let me clean up my Allen key mess. So if you look here, wrong way. If you look here, you can see the cable runs through this hole. If you get directly on top of it, you can see this cable is going to run right through this hole. And we want, so we can see that that's off. And it's also off on the bottom. So we're gonna have to put a couple twists in the top and in the bottom cable. So we'll do that really quick. I'm gonna put one twist in each cable. Throw it in the press. Come on in here, Ian. So this is the cable we're tightening, or the one that we're gonna throw twist in, slips off. I have to put a couple more twists in it. Now our strings are completely limp. All right, pull it off of there. Add one twist. Throw it back up around there. And then now we're gonna do the bottom side. It is the exact same thing. Slip it off. Let's take a look. One twist. Don't forget to throw it back over that, because then your timing will be super out of whack. Make sure everything is in its tracks, which it looks to be. Twisting those cables up will also increase the poundage. Okay, well, I can see already that we're still out of time, so I'm gonna add another one into it. All right, we're back. We got the timing issue fixed. Now we can put our stabilizers back on. There we go. Now we're set. Let's shoot it in here. Just to get a rough, make sure we're roughly gonna hit the target outside. All right, before we do shoot it though, we need to check our poundage. I wanna be running like right around 58. 58, 59 would be nice. 60. So put our target over here. Let's see if we are roughly close. Bullseye. It's been a while since I've shot a hinge. Alright, she's shooting good. Now let's go outside and shoot it. But it's cold and snowy, and it's also dark right now. So we're not going to do that today. Fast forward. All right, guys, it's actually about a week later. But we're out here. We had a mishap. We started to film this part and had a mishap. But we're back out here. We're gonna fling some arrows down here. We've got the old bone collector bag target down there. So we're gonna fling some arrows. We're at 50. I already worked myself back here. That way we didn't have to waste no time watching me just miss the target a lot. So we're back here at 50. We're gonna sling some arrows, see what kind of groups we can put down out of this guy, and go from there with the rest of the year. So. That one actually looked pretty good. That one looked low and left too. Whew. 3 shots in, and this is tough, guys. After going from shooting a hunting bow for the last 6 or 7 months to holding this thing out in front of you, it's rough. Definitely need to shoot this more before I take it to a tournament. Or we might just flip in there and shoot it. Who cares? Whew. Got rid of that one quick. Oh my gosh. I'm freaking tired. Good gravy. Man. Tough shooting. So, first 5 arrow impression. I ain't even seen the group yet. It's probably pretty bad, I'm not gonna lie. And if it was, I'm not gonna be mad. Definitely need some more practice because that thing's a lot heavier than a hunting bow. Okay, so not terrible, I guess. This was our first shot, our second shot, and I think these were our last 3 shots. So right now we're hitting a little bit low and just a touch right. It's much harder to aim. My freaking scope battery died. This video is impossible to film, I swear. We're gonna shoot it anyway. See what we can do. We actually didn't do too bad. Not a terrible group. Man, it just sucks. Like, this video is so hard to film for some reason. It's just tough. I threw a string whenever I tried to film this part last week, and now my freaking battery died in my scope, so I have no light. So on this group, I was pretty much just putting my scope like center mass, and I hit 2 good. Still had some low and right. Not terrible. Not a terrible group. Definitely could be better. We'll have to make a part 2 whenever I have this thing tuned out. Everything's set up.
I'm on the outside, I'm looking in. I can see through you, see your true colors.
Shot one more group. This group actually looked really, really good. Just, I didn't even look at it through the binos. I just, from where the arrows were impacting, everything looked really solid. So this is the kind of groups we're after. Somewhat. Obviously they need to be tighter. This one kind of flew out a little bit left, but the rest of them get our hand around. So that's the kind of groups we want.